Hey, it's Steve-O, the Special Projects guy from My Mini Casa, back again. And in this video, we're going to talk about the different information that's contained on the doors of a shipping container. So what we have here are a few different things. This is called the Csc Plate, which stands for the Convention for Safe Containers and has a lot of information on it. We usually have some sort of logo on who owns the container. And then we have some information which is sort of like the container's serial number and different elements of its capacity for cargo. If we look closely at the Csc plate, we can see there's some very interesting and useful information on it. I'm going to go through some of the major points quickly. This number here is the version of the Convention for Safe Container rules that the container was manufactured under. So this container was manufactured under the 2002 rules for the Convention for Safe Containers. We also have the container manufacturer and who was the original owner of the container. Here we have the date that the container was manufactured, which is January 2005. And this right here is a very important one. It's the timber component treatment. Inside the container, there is 1.5 inches of plywood which is treated to prevent it from decaying or from being eaten from insects. Now, prior to 2007, there were some nasty chemicals that were used in this process, but after 2007, the version of the Convention for Safe Containers dictated that the preservatives that are used in the root wood would be much more human-friendly and environmentally friendly. So these days, the chemicals that they're using are basically the same chemicals that are used in pet flea collars. If you feel that your container, you're going to make it into a home and you feel that you don't want any chemicals actually gassing off into the space, regardless of whatever the floor is preserved with, you can use a low viscosity epoxy coating to encapsulate the floor and make sure that no chemicals gas out into the space inside. If you look at the outside of the container, you can see that there's some writing on it, and there's some useful and interesting information on here. This is the container number, and this is the ISO number. These are kind of like the VIN numbers on a car and helps identify the container, who owns it, etc., etc. This here is called a checksum. It's the result of a particular mathematical function of these two numbers, and a quick way for people like custom inspectors to make sure that none of this is counterfeit or wrong. Now, one of the most important pieces of information that you can get off this is the tare weight. And the tare weight is the actual weight of the container. So how they calculate how much cargo is in a container is they take the total weight of the container, they minus the tare weight, and that gives them the results of what the actual weight of the cargo is. These are pretty self-explanatory. These are the maximum capacity of the containers in weight, and this is the maximum capacity of the container in volume. Now, on shipping containers, you'll see this interesting little sticker in various different forms, and it says, "This container must be repaired only with Corten steel." Now, Corten steel is a particular kind of steel, also known as weathering steel, and what makes it interesting is that that alloy has chemical properties that create a very thin surface layer of rust which protects the steel underneath it from continual corrosion. On regular steel, when it starts to corrode, the corrosion will just continue to eat away at the steel. This doesn't mean that this container wouldn't rust if dipped in water, but it does mean that the container is resistant to atmospheric moisture. So the word Corten comes from corrosion and tensile. It's corrosion resistance and has a particularly strong tensile strength. Well, that's about it for today. I hope you found this video to be informative. I wish you all good luck out there with your projects, and until the next video, I'm Steve, the Special Projects guy from My Mini Casa.